Hey, friend, welcome to the Grief to Great Day podcast and the Lighthouse community. Do you feel like you're going crazy? Is the shower the only place you let yourself really cry? Are you surrounded by people yet still feel completely alone? And do you long to be the you were before they died, but you have no idea how to get there? I'm Steph Cabanis, Southern by choice, wife, wannabe triathlete, Jesus follower, and fellow traveler on this road of grief. I know what it's like to struggle, to breathe, to question God and my faith, and to wonder if happiness would ever return. But friend, let me tell you, God is still good and there is still hope. Grief may feel like you're lost in a storm at sea, tossed by waves you never saw coming. But in that darkness, there is still a light. And that's what we do here in the Lighthouse community. We follow the light of the Lord. We take small steps forward and we lean on faith even when we don't feel like we have any. So if you're ready to navigate this journey, to find your footing after loss, and to take just one step toward healing, bring your ugly cry, get into a comfortable place, even if that's your bed right now, and let the healing begin. You are not alone. This is not your forever, and you will be able to breathe, to laugh, and to live again. Hey, Wave Warrior. Today's episode is one of comfort, clarity, and connection. I want to talk about how God gets it, how He sits in the silence with us, listens to our cries, and gently reminds us that we're not alone. Psalm 77 is one of the most powerful reflections of this truth, and I've been drawn to it lately. I also want to remind you that God can handle your heart, your confusion, your anger, and all the questions that you can come up with. For you to understand what I'm talking about, I want to read Psalm 77, the entire chapter to you. This is the message version to make it more relatable. Now, the beginning of the chapter speaks to everyone listening to this episode. It is the cry of all our hearts in grief. Psalm 77. I yell out to my God. I yell with all my might. I yell at the top of my lungs. He listens. I found myself in trouble and went looking for my Lord. My life was an open wound that wouldn't heal. When friends said everything will turn out all right, I didn't believe a word they said. I remember God and shake my head. I bow my head, then wring my hands. I'm awake all night, not a wink of sleep. I can't even say what's bothering me. I go over the days one by one. I ponder the years gone by. I strum my lute all through the night, wondering how to get my life together. Will the Lord walk off and leave us for good? Will He never smile again? Is His love worn threadbare? His salvation promise burned out? Has God forgotten His manners? Has He angrily stomped off and left us? Just my luck, I said. The high God retires just the moment I need Him. Once again, I'll go over what God has done, lay out on the table the ancient wonders. I'll ponder all the things you've accomplished and give a long, loving look at your acts. Oh God, your way is holy. No God is great like God. You're the God who makes things happen. You showed everyone what you can do. You pulled your people out of the worst kind of trouble, rescued the children of Jacob and Joseph. Ocean saw you in action, God, saw you and trembled with fear. Deep ocean was scared to death. Clouds belched buckets of rain. The sky exploded with thunder, your arrows flashing this way and that. From whirlwind came your thundering voice. Lightning exposed the world. Earth reeled and rocked. You strode right through the ocean. walked straight through roaring ocean, but nobody saw you come or go. Hidden in the hands of Moses and Aaron, you led your people like a flock of sheep. Now, think about it. Does this mirror the emotional journey of sorrow and confusion and ultimately remembrance and hope and connection? Verses 1 through 10, it's the honest cry of grief to me. I yell out to my God. I yell with all my might. I yell at the top of my lungs. He listens. These opening verses, they reflect the raw anguish of early grief, sleepless nights, relentless questions, and the sense that God feels distant. Has God forgotten to be kind? Is he so angry he slammed the door on me? This is the place where many grieving hearts begin, by crying out, wrestling with despair, wondering if God has turned away. These verses, they give us permission too to be honest with God, to pour out every doubt and ache without shame or guilt. Verses 11 to 20, that's the shift to remembering. Verse 11 says, once again, I'll go over what God has done, lay out on the table the ancient wonders. See, this comes a turning point. This is a shift. The psalmist chooses to stop spiraling and start remembering, not because the pain disappears, but because looking back on God's faithfulness gives strength for the next breath. This is where we begin to build what I call a faith resume. It's a record of how God has carried us before and a reminder that He will carry us again. You strode right through ocean, walked straight through roaring oceans, but nobody saw you come or go. In verse 19, it's saying, even when we can't see Him, He's moving. He parts seas. He makes a way through deep waters. So right now, when you're walking through grief, verses 1 to 10, it kind of gives you the permission just to feel it all, to wrestle, to weep, to question, because God isn't offended by any of that. He's not offended by your grief. Verses 11 to 20 invite you to shift your gaze, not by ignoring your pain or waiting till it's over, but by anchoring yourself in the truth of who God is and what He's done. This is how you grieve with hope. It's honest sorrow, rooted remembrance, and forward faith. When grief clouds our minds and burdens our hearts, it's easy to forget the moments when God's goodness was undeniable. That's why creating a faith resume is such a powerful practice. It's a written record of the times God showed up for you, moments of answered prayer, of unexpected provision, just when you needed it the most, deep peace, protection, healing, or even the quiet ways He sustained you when life made no sense. When you intentionally recall and write down those moments, you begin to see a pattern of His faithfulness that has been woven throughout your entire story. And you have more hope and belief that He will do it again. This resume isn't just a look back, it's a lifeline for the present. In seasons when hope feels far away, rereading your faith resume reminds you that God has never left your side. It shifts your focus from your circumstances to His character. Like Psalm 77, where the psalmist moves from anguish to remembrance, your faith resume becomes your personal declaration. God has been faithful before. He will be faithful again. So today, I challenge you to do your journey works. And you haven't heard that in a while. It's the work of your journey. Create a faith resume of your own today. Just writing down what God has done in the past. It's going to change your perspective, even in this moment, which could last for a few moments or an hour or even help your day improve. And then when you have those moments where you just can't see anything changing, and come back to your faith resume and intentionally read it over again and read it over out loud, because that is even more helpful. You hear your own voice saying those words. Until next time, remember, you're not walking this journey alone. God is with you, and together we're moving from grief to a true great day. Don't forget, if you don't have a church home, or you're just not going to church right now, then visit my church, opendoorchurch.com. Keep coming back to the lighthouse, keep sitting on the couch, and keep taking action, creating a faith resume this week toward healing. Thank you for being here today. You know that by listening to this podcast, that's you taking action, and that's you showing up. I know this journey is so hard, but again, I promise you, you are not alone, and this is not your forever. Now, from time to time, you'll hear me talk about Monica. You didn't know Monica, but I wish you had. She was my best friend, my business partner, and was more like a sister. She was diagnosed with stage 4 melanoma, and just 6 months later, she was gone. I watched those 6 months unfold in agonizing detail. The pain, the physical deterioration, the struggle for air, constant coughing. Y'all, if you've ever been a caretaker, you understand that that is gut-wrenching. But Monica didn't see it that way. She saw those 6 months as her walk toward healing, a journey of outrageous faith, complete dependence on the Lord, and a radical joy. While her body faded, her faith deepened. Every night, no matter how rough the day, she'd smile and say, "We had a great day, didn't we?" And if you can tell, that's where the name for this podcast comes from. See, her friendship changed my life. Her faith and death, though, they changed who I am. If you've ever wondered what it looks like to live above your circumstances, to walk through suffering with unshakable faith, or to witness someone dying and yet healing in the deepest way, then the book I wrote, Dying to be Healed, is a story you need to read. You can find this book on her journey in the Lighthouse community. Trust me, you'll never see pain or faith the same way again. And if you don't have a church home, I'd love for you to visit my church, opendoorchurch.com, because staying connected in faith, it makes a difference, especially if you're not able to walk back through the doors of your own church right now. Remember, grief isn't something you get over, but a great day is something you can get to. Until next time, keep taking action, those small steps forward, and know that healing, it will come.